What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Waiting on people to link in. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Had to get on live today, real quick. What up, though? What's going on? Just want to get up on here real quick. Telling people to vote once again. Go to the polls. Go inside wherever you're supposed to be and vote. I'm not on the ballot, but you have to write me in. James Chandler, District 1. If you're in District 1, that's the only way you can vote for us. Like, they said, it used a long time ago, or I don't know what year they cut it off, but it used to be a time where you could vote for anybody in any district. But now they only your district can vote for certain people. And that's how they mess up the voting situation too. So they find ways to do it. Either they zone us, they do these zoning situations, or they redistrict people, or they change something in the law or policy. And it's like we need to get out there and vote. However they try to do it and twist it up. It's already bad enough our people is moving away from each other. Instead of us coming together in Detroit in one community, one city, and winning the majority votes, having the same mindset, first of all, winning the majority votes, a black vote, boom, to recall people out their positions quicker, or to even get the people we want in the offices. It's hard when they pull us away, pull us apart, because we want to live somewhere fancy, or because we want to get away from Nene and Drake and all them, right? Some of the bad people. When it is that we need to be in those communities to teach those people to not be so ghetto, right? Or, they say you can take the person out the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out the person. And it's like, no matter where you go, you're still bringing the same you to wherever you go. So it's like, if you don't have you together, you're going to bring the same mess wherever you go. So it's like, I'm not saying that you can't live anywhere you want to go. You know what I'm saying? But we have to change some things, man. And we have to come together to do it. We don't necessarily... See, that's the thing. If we can vote anywhere in Michigan, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter whether we move away from Nene and them, right? It wouldn't matter, right? But they district us off in these votes where you can't vote. Like, if I want you to vote for me, everybody can't vote for me because they're not in District 1. Totally out of line. When our people are moving from this community, they're taking away most of our malls. Detroit doesn't have anything. We don't have recreation centers like that. They're taken away. Northland Mall is gone. Eastland Mall is gone. We could just name some things. They took away our markets, food markets. We hardly have any healthy food places. Randazzo's, there's only a few. Only 2 in Detroit, I'm not sure. Maybe 3. Somebody can correct me on that. But, it's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to change. I need some friends some new friends. I need some new family. I'm going to say it like that. That's willing to change the world. Who wants, I'm willing to do some Zoom meetings, meeting up in person if you're in Detroit, close by. We need to get something going. The NAACP ain't enough. They're not doing enough. They're very unresponsive, just like a lot of these politicians. They made their money. When Martin Luther King was walking the streets, they made their money off the backs of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, right? These people that was really making changes. Now that they're gone, these people are sitting on that money and they're putting it in their pockets and they're not helping the community. They do little chats and smile in your faces and do events. They, like the politicians, they come out together with these events. They smile in your face, they shake their hands, shake your hand, and want to take a picture and offer you a shirt and some food. when that in itself should be done by catering. That's not your job as a politician. That's a caterer's job. Right? So it's like it's serious, but it's funny. You know what I'm saying? It's like you gotta laugh to keep from crying a lot of times. But you know, I have a lot to share, a lot to say. I'm sure a lot of you do. I just feel that once I get myself together, business wise, because I definitely have a business in mind, probably a couple of them. One thing is with a podcast. I need to actually get that going. I was talking today about the same thing. We need to have one mindset. Everybody has to come together and agree. I don't know why it's so hard for us to have one mindset and agreement towards something. I'm going to give you an example. Don't you know that a lot of people don't believe that America is a Christian nation? Just that point, right? A lot of people, ask somebody, do you think America is a Christian nation? And when I say Christian nation, I mean Christian/Hebrew or Jewish. Because when you talk about Christian, the original faith is the Hebrew or Israelite faith. So it's Hebrew/Christian. We're going to put that out there. A lot of people won't agree with that, but we're going to put that out there, right? Why would I say that this is or I ain't going to say Christian, I'm not going to say Hebrew, a biblical nation? If you want to use that word Bible or biblical, we can get into some word games there, but let's stick to the basics. This is a biblical nation, right? A lot of people wouldn't agree with that. I talked with somebody about that before, and they said, no, this is not a biblical nation. Why? And then they start bringing up, well, this is the land of the free, and we can believe what we want, this, that, and the other. Yeah. I mean, those are the policies we've set forth in America for it to be the land of the free, home of the brave. It talks about the American dream, but yet it's still a biblical nation because what did our forefathers always quote? Always quoted the Bible. Always quoted the Bible. Our forefathers quoted the Bible. When they written the Constitution, actually they got the Constitution from the Magna Carta, right? But just stuff like that. We don't even agree on that. We don't agree on that. Getting people to agree to just come together as a community, to start a community, to do a massive demonstration. We don't walk the streets like we used to, right? It's not the same. Even when they walk the streets now, it's not the same. People walk the streets and they do their bands, their music, If they're not rioting, breaking in stores, behind the whatever they're fighting for, making us look bad as a people. Martin Luther King taught nonviolence, right? It's like we wouldn't even dare to tell somebody, don't be nonviolent today. Because there's always a Medea in the crowd, right? It's always somebody that's going to want to throw that stone, right? Now, there's a time for everything. Don't get me wrong. Because a lot of these politicians and the way these people in upper ranks work, they are in need. They are in need of some chastening, right? Some rods across their backs, some prison time, some pain, right? They are in need, right, of those things. But this is why we need to let the justice system deal with that. It's not our job to take it in our own hand. That's the job of a judge. This is what we need to be teaching our people, not to take the matters in their own hand. This is what we mean by being nonviolent. It's best to go the way of justice. Let justice have its perfect work, right? Let patience have its perfect work, as the Bible says. Patience. Patience is a virtue, because justice will come out of that if we just wait, right? And I know a lot of times it's not fast or quick, or, things are not fair in this world. Again, we can't recall people as quick as we want because we don't have the power like we should have it. They're not giving us the power, or we haven't taken the power back yet like we want it, because we're not on one accord in mind. We haven't came together as a community at all, right? And this is the time to disagree, or you have your whatever you want to say, right? I see some question marks in the on the channel. What's going on? Let me know what your thoughts is, because I was saying today, that we don't agree, first of all, to even move forward with what we know we need. I was in a community. Oh, you want to know what district you in? What part of the city are you in? Because that's a good question. And easily, as always, Chat GPT, y'all. Go on Chat GPT, put in your city. This is where I'm at. I need to know what district I'm in. Chat GPT will tell you. So the downtown area, it depends on where it cuts off at. I'm not really sure. But downtown is the part I know is my mom in. She's in District 5. That's where when Sheffield was president, blah, 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 that was her district. 48214, 48205. And I should know that one. That might be District 3. But let me see. I'm gonna have that answer for you. Let's see. All right, so you said 48205. That's in the yellow. And 48214. That should be District 1. See 40205 right there. Hoover Mound. Hold on, let me see, because I think they changed it since 2014. I'm looking at a 2014 year. Okay. Yep, 48205, 48214 is actually District 4. District 4. Got that? District 4. So I'm District 1, so District 4 probably won't be able to vote for me. I haven't seen I've seen 2 ballots so far. Like the absentee ballots, they show you like who you can vote for or whatever. But yep, you're District 4. Yeah, but yeah, we got to try to agree with some things. A lot of people don't believe that African Americans should have reparations. Well, they wasn't a part of the slave trade. They just that and the other, And there's so many arguments with that. Like, well, if they get their reparations, shouldn't, and they want to bring up other people, shouldn't the, what was one? What about the, what is it? So I think somebody brought up the Hispanics or something. Let me see. It was on my phone. It's on my phone. Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure a lot of people that probably come on here will have their little questions about it. But reparations again, it's not just money. Reparations is restitution, restitution, and it goes back to not just those who were in the slave trade, but to the lineage, right? It's a heritage. It's something that goes to the children. It's something that goes to that whole portion, and it's not something that's just dealing with the slavery time, right? From slavery all the way to the civil rights movement, we were still going through racism. You know, they were still taking land from us. We could talk about um the I'm thinking about the Detroit riots, but we could talk about um some of those massacres that happened, right? And I actually did a writing on this. Um, Black Wall Street. That's one. You know what I'm saying? But it's more than just Black Wall Street that happened. A lot of race riots. Um, from even from colonization. We know who built the United States. Off the backs of black folks, right? And we're still not giving that credibility or that credit, right? We can talk about police brutality that's been going on. The right to vote, just getting the right to vote. Uh, we could mention identity crisis. A lot of us don't know our genetics. We don't know where we came from. We don't. A lot of people know. Other races know their where they came from. They could trace back their heritage, right, and their culture and all this and that. But again, that's a right to know. That's a part of the Right to Know Act. It's a right to know, and without knowing this, it's deceptive. It's fraud. People have stolen our identity. We could talk. We could talk about. Now this probably gonna get banned, but we could talk about a lot of those so-called people over there in Israel who have switched identities with people that's supposed to be over there, right? Right? Just put it out there like that. So again, all these manipulations, all this fraud, all this deception. And then on top of that, we have a president in office who wants to, or who has cut off funding for the Smithsonian and these museums that teach our history. You know what I'm saying? And you see, I'm me fumbling over my words and trying to express what I'm trying to say because I know the facts. I've written it out, I've seen it, but I just can't recall everything. Like, I only mentioned one, Black Wall Street, but it's quite a few more. Rosewood, the situation in Rosewood, they took black people's land then, right? Cruel. And it's sad that we have people in this world that's for destruction and hatred of other people. That's first off. If we can rend ourselves of hate, if we can change the mindset of those who would hate other people, like for what? Why are you hating other people? What have they done to you? Have they killed your family? Have they, now, if that's the case, we handle that with justice. We take them to court, right? We go through this process of charging them, right? Do you have a witness to it? It has to be two or more. You know what I'm saying? So, the biblical way of doing things, right? Witnesses. Before you go and cast them into prison, go and talk to that person first if you can. If it's possible. Scripture says, if it's possible, be at peace with all men, right? Be at peace with all men. But Who talks about peace with all men? Who's actually against peace with all men? And it's usually those people that's calling themselves MAGA, the MAGA hat wearers. You're not at peace with all men if you're warring against them, if you're keeping them out of the vote, if you're keeping their voices not being heard, things like that, right? And I'm not saying that to defend a lot of this stuff that a lot of the Democrats is doing. You know, they're uplifting abortions and, you know, they're uplifting gay rights and all this stuff. I'm not even talking about none of that, right? Of course, they have their rights, but I've seen how ridiculous that can go too. You know, everybody got their rights, everybody got to say so. And when it comes to these people that's like that, these rainbow people, it's like they will fight you nail and toe, you know, to the death, to get their point across, to get their stuff seen. And they forget that, okay, yes, it's your rights, but look at the little children watching this. They got to bear to see this, you know, and they don't know. They're learning their environment. And it's like, you got to give them freedom to choose, right? But them seeing this right away, it's like you're still pushing it on them. You're pushing it on them, especially if their father or mother don't want them learning that type of stuff. They have a right because they're in charge of that over their child. They have a right, just like they can whoop their child, and they took certain things out the school. You know, prayer is one of them, and you can't really chastise your kid in front of the state or in front of your teachers. You know, it could go into some other repercussions. You know, so it's a thin line when it comes to the state and our rights as, you know, human beings, right? I see my bro on here. If y'all have anything y'all want to say or add or questions, I'll just answer one. Somebody was asking what district they're in, and I had to tell them they're in District 4 in Detroit. So again, I'm James Chandler. I'm running for City Council, District 1. I'm going against James Tate. He doesn't have a runner-up on the ballot, which is fraud and deceptive and out of line and and it's crazy all within itself, you know, because you have to have a challenger on the ballot. Come on now, right? Let you know that there's some cheating. You know, they closed the primaries too soon. They closed the primaries too soon. We have the proof. People have came forth saying that it was voter fraud and people have been cheating. If they continue to cheating, nobody can win. It's the same people been in there. Sheffield been in there 12 years. James Tate I'm running against been in there 16 years, right? And I was going through District 2, my sister district right next to me, because I'm in District 1, District 2. And can you believe that there's a lot of people in District 2 wanting to vote for Sheffield? Now, she's been in office 12 years. And if you go into District 2 and see how they're living, those houses over there, I'm talking about Pembroke area, and you're voting for Sheffield that's been there 12 years, what has she done for your community? What, you know, it's like y'all barely trying to hold your stairs on your porch up. You can't hold your stairs on your porch up. It's funny, you gotta laugh to keep from crying. Like, for real. 12 years. Now, that's not her district, right? That's not her district. But still, she could have put fire under her colleagues. But have you seen that on the table, right? And of course, we need righteous people in these positions. And not just righteous people, but righteous people that can agree, to be on one accord. And if you're righteous and you have a righteous mindset and the statute is righteous, of course we can agree to a righteous standpoint. And, you know, when righteous people are in office, You know, the people are happy. That's what that's what the scriptures say. People are happy. But when a wicked person is in office, you know, it's a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of sadness. People are mad, upset. We have to get righteous people in there, right? And I don't mean righteous like, oh, I have never done wrong, I have no sin. No. You know, it's people that's willing to learn from their mistakes. It's people that's willing to think before they act. It's people that's willing to look at biblical ways to handling things, the wisdom of Solomon, than to go into their own emotions of what they think, right? And out of hate, out of your feelings, yeah, like I said, okay, not to bash women, but majority of women work in their emotions, right? Majority of women work in their emotions. So if you set her on fire, heated, you know, a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, she's going to work that office in a way that's going to cut, you know, because they linger on something way too long. They don't get over it that quick to just, you know, to not let something bash off from that, right? So you can just imagine, but and there's some men like that. Don't get me wrong, you know, because we have men that's abusers of women, right? And oftentimes those type of men are like women. You know, they got to have it their way. Uh-oh, what happened? I don't know what happened. Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking at my screen here. So y'all get what I'm saying? Anybody want to share something or question or anything? If you disagree, we can get it on the table. Well, I'm for human rights for sure. And it's a lot of things I've been questioning. Like one thing, and I mentioned in one of my videos, if you go back and look at my videos on TikTok, it's crazy how somebody posted, it's crazy how a country with 37 trillion in debt is giving me a credit score. $1 billion in debt, but they're willing to give us a credit score. You know, that's funny. That's crazy. The fraud, right? The deception, right? Government shutdown. Pay attention to this. Costing the economy $15 billion per day. As Republicans refuse to protect Americans' health care. Is that true? Somebody want to chime in on that? Because $15 billion per day? You know, and people are so like, okay, well, African Americans don't deserve reparation. Hey, if you give them a reparation, we still probably have money left over. What you talking about? Y'all just being petty and hatrified. Just hating, right? Let me get a charger on my phone, y'all. We have to stop being a petty people. We need seminars like this. We need to talk, like a pep talk. The whole world need to sit under some counsel, some guidance. You know, if we go back to the steps of morals, the virtues, right? 9 of them, 9 virtues. Let me share. A lot of people probably don't even know. See, I'm with a school that actually teach this. I'm with a school that's a blue ribbon school in District 2. A blue ribbon school, that means known by the president, you know, highly regarded with great esteem, honor, right? And it's funny that none of the politics or city council has thought to partner that school with other schools to fix what's going on in DPS or to fix what's going on in these other charter schools or to come together to get a lot of these actions in order. And the actions I mean is the disobedient, the rebellion, the just to get the ghetto out, or to at least pipe it down a little bit, because I know ghetto doesn't mean just riotous or just bad. People want to have fun, right? And people have fun in different ways. You know, and they just need to be taught how to use that or have fun without making somebody else or hurting other people while trying to have fun. Because a lot of people can't switch the connections between that, because it's funny to them. It's like a little child laughing, like say for instance, you're the father, you're choking on a burger, a serious situation. You're eating, you start choking, but the child don't know what's going on. He start laughing at you because you're doing all these funny motions. He don't know that you're dying, but he just laughing. He get a giggle out of it. But and he not gonna know. The little baby not gonna know that situation until maybe a little tap, a little whooping, no, till they finally figure out that this is a serious matter. You shouldn't be laughing, or not to the babies, of course, but somebody in the second grade. I deal with little kids like that, so second grade, fifth graders. Train the children up while they're young, right? Train them up in a way that they should go. And when they're old, they won't depart, as the Bible teach, right? But again, we have to teach these morals, 9 moral virtues, right? We have, and actually, okay, we have courage, truth. I actually like the ones that Pembroke has. I'm going to share these. I'm going to just use these 9, right? Yep. Wisdom. Have that wisdom. Sit under people with wisdom, right? Train under people with wisdom. If you want to know something about business, if they got wisdom, they'll have the wisdom in business, right? Whatever you need, wisdom has it, right? Get wisdom, get understanding, right? Respect. We need to teach people respect. People are not respecting one another. Respect. Aretha Franklin came out with a song, Respect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to me, right? We have to know what it means to other people, not just to ourselves. You want respect, you got to give respect. Gratitude, right? Self-control. Even with, this is why the Bible is so important, because it teaches you those attributes to even control self, because there's a lot of sexual abuse going on. People are running rapid in their mind. They're perverse in their head. So they do perverse actions, and they find themselves in jail. They find themselves abusing somebody and ending up in jail, or ending up hurt by somebody's family member, or ending up dead. The perverse mind. Perfect example. I'm fighting. Okay, so I'm running for office, right? I'm fighting for 3 things, 3 major things. Reparations. That's 1. Government transparency. That's 2. And undenied aid. Now, reparations goes to African Americans. Don't hate on that. But undenied aid is for everyone. So again, I'm not just for one people or one person. I'm for everybody, right? Human rights, right? We have to give diligence and people what's due to other people. We have to give them their props. We have to give them what's due to them, right? Reparations is restitution, period. Okay? Undenied aid goes to everybody. Undenied aid, right? Government transparency, reparations. So I'm fighting for reparations, right? I must understand, we must understand that if that goes through, which it will one of these days, we're fighting, right? But it's gonna take the hand of the Most High to make that happen, right? But if it goes through, when it goes through, because this is the thing, I went to police officers talking about reparations. A lot of people wouldn't support my petition. When I went to the police officer, he wouldn't support it. It was a black police officer too, right? Black older guy. He wouldn't support it because he said this. Once they get that money, basically they're going to do something foolish. They're going to get that money, somebody going to get shot. They're going to get that money, they're going to give it right back to the government. It's going to be right back. Find some way to mess it up, right? So this has been the whole thing. What are they going to do with it? Are they going to start a business? I know a lot of our people are business minded. They will start a business. They will even probably start a Black Wall Street. Hopefully, we can do something smart with that money. It will do you justly to do what's right with that money. And I'm saying it now, because when you get this money, I don't want to hear, because all it takes, right? This is what I'm saying. Even if we put up a test, right? We're going to give these people these reparations, okay? But they got one time to make a mistake, criminal-wise. Just throw that out on the table. If one person gets shot because they wanted somebody's shoes and we just passed on reparation, of course a whole world shouldn't be penalized for that one person. But usually in school, that's what happens. Usually in life, that's what happens, right? But that person, or who's connected to that person, could lose the reparations. So say, for instance, that was a rule, right? That would be terrible. Said, can't stand DPD from James Tate. Was 1-2 and look where he ended, right? Okay. Yeah, he was Detroit police. Yep, you're right. And we've been talking about that. Yep, James Tate was in the police department. Yep. That's why I'm not voting for Harris either. Like anybody, see, I know I'm going off track, but I'm seeing your comment. I had some issues with the 36th District Court. I had some cases where I felt that I won, and they just glossed right over it. Got my paperwork. A judge told me like this: you may know more than me, but this is my decision. Without prejudice. You may know more than me, but hey, this is my decision without prejudice. You know what I'm saying? And and then one of the judges said, I'm not in their jurisdiction. This is coming from 36th District Court. I'm not in their jurisdiction. And then once they told me I'm not in their jurisdiction, I went to Third Circuit Court, and that's the judge that said, you may know more than me. You may know more than me, but without prejudice. This is my decision, basically, right? And I can throw some names out there, right? But if I'm not in your jurisdiction, I sent my letter in. Put me on a do not detain list. Then 36th District Court, don't come at me after this. Don't you even do it. You have no rights. You have no rights. And the same thing with Judicial Tenure Commission. Me trying to get my point across with that. Went to the Judicial Tenure Commission, and they gave me a hard time. They didn't want to let me in the building because they felt I was a threat. They had the police escort me out, and I got upset with the police because I'm like, okay, if you can't escort me up, I'm saying, okay, you got the police here. If y'all feel like I'm a threat, they can escort me up in this building to lay off my legal paperwork. And they said, no, they couldn't do that. So if you can't escort me up, you definitely sure can't escort me out. So again, the hypocrisy, the coercion, right? You know, the verbal abuse, that's still brutality, right? Brutality and injustice, right? So again, these attributes we need: wisdom, respect, gratitude, self-control, perseverance. Keep on going. It may not look like it's going right, but keep on doing it. Doing what's right. Even when it's not looking right. Even when it's not going your way. Perseverance. Keep being persevere. Persevere through it. Courage, encouragement, compassion, integrity. People are giving up too quick. Well, money ain't coming quick enough. And I'm working this job, so they go rob somebody because it ain't coming quick. No. Keep on persevering, people. Use that perseverance, right? Be compassionate to people. Use integrity when nobody's watching you. What are you doing? Are you doing the right thing? And hey, I haven't been always doing the right thing, using integrity all the time. But at some point, as you get older, because we got to know, we're dying. As we get older, we're dying. We're moving to this place where it's like, we're not going to always be here. We want to leave something for our kids if we have kids, or our nephew, nieces, and if you don't want nobody treating your daughter wrong, your child wrong, your family members wrong, why treat somebody else's family members wrong? That's the type of talk we need to have with people. And it's, I'm not going to say it's sad, but we need to have these talks. It's like a real nice conversation, and to see where people's minds at, But I think that if we go by this golden rule, do unto others as you want them to do unto you, it will change a lot of stuff. It will help solve a lot of these situations. And I know a lot of people are different, because we got people that's dealing with anxiety, people that's dealing with stress, people that's dealing with anger management issues. And it's on a more mind level where they need probably extra help, like therapy or something like that. And we give people those helps. And some people may have to be locked away for that extra help, but it's better than just imprisoning them, not giving them some type of freedom, just keeping them entrapped. Or we got too many people in prison, Bad people need to be in prison, locked away, right? That just don't know how to handle themselves, or they're always hurting somebody, or, mainly if it involves death, murder, right? Or just blankly attacking people just because they feel that they can, right? And it's people that's in politics that's doing that thing, right? No one is above the law. What about that, right? Same thing. A lot of these politicians are not using integrity, but they're still in office. People have been in there 12 years, 16 years, not using integrity, and people are willing to vote these people right back in office. Right? And a lot of times, people haven't done study on who's actually running. They don't know people's background. They just voting blindly. And we're developing systems, and companies are coming together. Like I'm working with one, Black Heritage Alliance, and we are trying to share information with people about different candidates before they just blindly vote with them. We're just getting started, but we're trying to come up with our own black slate of who people should vote for in Detroit, because they definitely have their black slate. It's the wrong slate. People that they, keeping in. And the thing is, these people are putting in plants. People to get them in. Like say, for instance, if you don't vote for Mary Sheffield, they have a person that's kind of like her, or is being fed things through her that they'll put in there. And you vote for them thinking they're a good person, and it'd be the same old bull crap. Because you voted in Mary Sheffield a second time through another person. Right? You voted in James Tate a second time through another person. You voted in Donald Trump another time through his son or his daughter or another person, right? Let's talk about Donald Trump. How do y'all think he's doing? I know, some people may have voted for him. Has your decision changed so far about your choice of voting for him? You know, I get online on Facebook and read so many comments about Donald Trump, right? So many comments. You know, Democrats have their rhetoric, Republicans have their platforms and rhetoric, you know, and it's like when you read both of them, it's like these people are crazy on both ends, right? To the point where they're wishing death on people, right? If they're wrong, they're going to get what's coming to them regardless. He said, I didn't vote for Trump or Kamala. Kamala. I said her name wrong. Seems like the non-voter one. Yeah, I mean, see, okay, so I didn't vote for a long time until, because I didn't vote for Bush. But when Obama came into office, I did vote for him. I did vote for him. And I know a lot of people don't agree with everything he did. I mean, of course, I would say that, yeah, he didn't really do much for us, but could he really? You know, because when he was in office, there was a lot of Republicans like kind of stopping him from doing a lot of things. You know, a lot of people say, well, because, yeah, black, you know, he couldn't really, or, you know, a lot of people wouldn't say he was black, but, you know, there's so many things going on, right? But it takes a body, you know, Congress to approve things. Of course, they was going by all the rules with him in office, right? Going by all the rules. But now that Trump is in office, you see how the rules are going? This dude was caught up on what, 243 counts? All right, I'm exaggerating that, but right, about 34. You know, and all these different newspapers saying guilty, 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 guilty. But he's the president. Right? And I'm not a racist at all. You know, but I can and I do feel the pain of hurt of how white people have their privilege. If you want something done, get it done through a white man. Right? That's what they would say. I think that's a part of the script for them to keep us at the bottom of the economic ladder. Yeah, of course. I agree. I agree. But why? You know what I'm saying? But why? I still believe local election makes more impact. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Because locally, because a lot, that's the one thing people don't understand too. Because local, right? Federal has its income and, you know, they get their income. City, state, you know, when we do our taxes, everybody getting their income. But yet, what we go through in our city is really widely because of the local government, because they're controlling where that money goes when they get it from the federal. So the federal hands out this money, and it's like, okay, it's up to you to do what you want to do with this money. They can do whatever they want to do with it, but they choose to do what they want to do with it, if you know what I mean. Detroit has been cheated out of the money, right? If they're getting $10 billion, they're not getting that whole $10 billion. They get $3 billion of that. And then once they get that $3 billion of that, what goes into Detroit or whatever the needs is only $1 billion of it. Right? And the rest in politicians' pockets or whatever they want to do in downtown. Downtown is beautified. You know? The seat of judgment. It says community flagged, comments detected, filter comments. Okay. So, we can't really say much on here. Because TikTok has its way. You know, I tried to share a post on here about Donald Trump and share some pictures. Some of the stuff I'm saying right now. and TikTok banned it, or it went against the community guidelines somehow. So y'all see that? Community flagged comments detected, filter comments, right? And we could be talking peaceably, right? And somebody come on here, just who doesn't really agree. They ain't said a word. They ain't said a word. They ain't said no disagreement. You know, if they wanted to share something, leave a comment, leave your thoughts, whatever. You know, but be respectful when you leave it, because if you don't, we got some words for you too, right? We got some words. It's about respect, wisdom, respect, gratitude, self-control, perseverance, courage, encouragement, compassion, and integrity. We need to keep posting those, y'all. And I am up for that interview, or that bruh, being on the podcast. Yep, so on Facebook I have a page, FBI Angels, Federal Bureau of Investigation Angels. Of course, this will be the new NAACP type thing. Of course, I'm working with Black Heritage Alliance, which is basically another NAACP type thing, but not doing the same thing they're doing, right? Or sitting on the job they're supposed to be doing. We're not going to sit on it. We're here to educate people. I want to give my shout outs to certain people. Like, if you go and look them up in their content, like what was her name? Cynthia, the lawyer lady. I forget her last name, but yeah, her. I love looking at the lady from Texas, the Hammer. She called herself the Hammer. I can't remember her name. It was a light-skinned guy on here. He was spitting some fire about sovereign nationals and stuff like that. So yeah, one of my questions about sovereign nationals while I'm there is, like, would sovereign nationals agree with the Detroit Charter? Now, I know some things are needed, and to get rid of the Detroit Charter completely is to really bash the police. Because some people are fighting to defund police, but I'm not. It's like, we need police. You know, police keeps the order. Like we were talking about today, biblical standards, the Bible. You know, these people are set in their offices for a reason. We have a judge for a reason, right? To bring forth true justice. You know, this guard that the Bible talks about has his weapon or his sword on him for a reason. You know, so they are to be, you know, they are to keep their due diligence and their duty, right? However, since a lot of corruption, that's the problem. It's not the job that these people are doing that's the problem. It's the corruption of the people. Just like having a gun, right? The gun is not the issue. It's the people that's pulling the trigger. It's the people that's behind the gun. They want to ban guns. They want to ban weapons, right? Scripture says, going back to the Bible, you know, at one point we weren't supposed to carry the sword. We were supposed to love our neighbor and turn the other cheek, right? But even the Messiah in Scripture said, in the last days, grab that sword. Grab that sword, right? And it goes back to a time and a place for everything. A time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance. And putting those in perspective in its rightful place knowing when to play, knowing when to be serious, right? This is why I'm talking about these virtues. Self-control, knowing when to have self-control, knowing when to lose control. just that, knowing when. And people want to act off hate all the time. They don't know when. Right? Lack of wisdom. When you don't know when, it's a lack of wisdom. When you don't know how, lack of wisdom. Right? When you don't know the way, lack of wisdom. Right? And there's nothing wrong with having a lack of wisdom. Just don't go out there thinking you know it and trying to push your beliefs on somebody, and when you can just ask for the wisdom, right? Scripture says, if you ask for wisdom, he'll give it to you just because you asked, right? However you say it, like, right? Just ask for it. Who gives it to all men, right? He gives it to all men freely. Wisdom. Just asking. Solomon asked for wisdom. He didn't ask for the gold. He didn't ask for the money. Just because you asked for wisdom, he said, I'm going to bless you with the gold and the money and all this stuff, right? Just because you asked for it, that's all he asked for. Wisdom. King Solomon, the wisest man in that time, right? Probably in this time, too. The wisest man in this time, too. When you think about it. All right? I give him props. But again, I know a lot of people are not biblical and things like that. But again, we can understand where these core values come from and why it's important to keep them. Because try not to keep them, you'll see what happens. Not keeping them, you end up in the situation we have today. Just a lot of hatred. People are killing people. They was killing people from the beginning, killing people now, and will always kill people forever. And you close the book, and that's the end. Right? What a world, right? Where's the peace? Where's the love? Right? Nobody can trust nobody no more. We don't, you ride the bus. You get on the bus. Do you find yourself talking to people on the bus? Hey, how's your day? What's your name? What do you do for a living? We don't have those type of conversations. Stranger danger. Right? Stranger danger. What's going on there? Something going on with this. Boom. Stranger danger. This live is long, y'all. I'm on here too long. I'm just talking, right? But this is real talk. And again, if you got questions, share your comments. You got something to share, your experience. If you want to share like something that happened to you, that's like it might help somebody else. Just that testimony, just that witness, right? Speaking of hatred, speaking of those who lack like these morals, right? The simple fact that we have scammers, right? A lot of scammers, right? And I used to love the show. It was a YouTube guy, Pierogi. Scammer Payback. Used to love watching that on YouTube. Love the guy. Like if you never heard of Pierogi, Scammer Payback, go and watch those videos. I mean, the scammers love to scam people until they get scammed. And then they find themselves cussing out the person that scammed them. And it's hilarious. Do unto others you want them to do unto you. They're happy when they're scamming people. But if they get scammed by a scammer, and they're a scammer, it ain't going to be a light thing. They are cuss. And I'm telling you, these people, most of those people over there that were scamming people, were these Arabic people or people that sound foreign. The people that you find out you got to talk to over the phone when you're trying to ask a question about your cable box. Those people, the foreign people. It be them. can't hardly talk English, can't hardly talk their own language, but they want to scam. A lack of wisdom. Right? You barely know how to talk, but you want to scam people. A lack of... I'm telling you, the ignorance, stupidity, it shows you where their mind is. When people start picking on people, the bully, the bully don't have a problem with you. The problem is on the inside of him. That's what causes him to be the bully in the first place. His mind is jacked up, right? What has happened to him in his childhood? What trauma has he experienced to become the bully? What trauma have you experienced to become the scammer? I know times get tight, times get hard, and you ain't getting paid enough at your job, and and life just haven't given you a break. Maybe that's what it is. But that's something to take up with city council, right? Again, that's something to take up with your government. But scamming innocent people or people just as broke as you, how does that help you? Oh, I got over just today, this week. I ain't rich though. I ain't make trillions, but the government got that money, right? The elite got that money. Wait a minute, I ain't make trillions, but I made it over today. I'm gonna need some more tomorrow though. But I took my time today to take 2 pennies, when I know tomorrow I'm gonna need 3. I mean, when you think about it, it's stupid. 100. When you think about it, it's stupid. And we take our time to do this. We know it's like the wicked person, the Bible talks about it. The wicked person lay in his bed at night thinking about how he gonna get over. And he actually put in that work to do it the next day. That's, me putting that in my own words, right? That's what they do. Because they're wicked. And we have to understand that there are wicked people in the world. People that's they want to see things destroyed. Bill Gates is poisoning food. Bill Gates is taking away the natural food and making alien food. Bill Gates is making food. Wait a minute. He don't want you to take. No, he don't want the fruit to come from the seed. He want the fruit to come from an elephant butt tucked in some doo-doo, tripled on top of a cake, and call it a cherry. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Something stupid like that, right? And he ain't in prison yet. Right? Can you imagine if Bill Gates was Tupac? That nigga would have been locked away. He'd have been locked away. Can you imagine if Bill Gates was Tupac? They wouldn't let a nigga get away with weed. I'm sorry. They gonna ban me for saying nigga. Right? They gonna ban me for saying it. Right? It took a while for them to make weed legal. Right? Government started making money off of it. It's okay. People start making money off of it to live. Again, we should try other alternatives though, other than the weed. We deal with weed too much. Our people deal with weed too much. We need to let that go. Think of some other alternatives. I know a lot of people gonna hate me saying that, but y'all get crazy about weed. Let's talk about that. People will be upset with me saying that. Right? And I'm not trying to make a law to go against it because I know I get shot down about it. I'll probably get a bullet. Right. Martin Luther King got shot because he was right for civil rights. I got shot because I stopped the weed process. I wouldn't dare. Stop it. I wouldn't dare. Our people are so stuck on weed and, I mean, smoking a cigarette, right? You got a job. You can't do your job well because you taking 10 breaks to take a cigarette smoke. That's when you know you got an issue. You got a problem, right? Again, it goes back to these morals. A time and a place to do things. right? Our people are so, the young people, a lot of the young people, they don't want to work. They don't know work. You put them to work too hard, they want to quit. They work their first day, get a good check, they leave the job, right? We don't want to train our children to be lazy. We want to break off the lazy bone. How are you going to be a good business person if you're lazy? The scriptures, the Bible calls it slothful, lazy, right? And if you be lazy, and if you want to sleep all the time, the scripture says you'll be poor. The poor will be always among us, right? A good reason? Because there are lazy folks among us. A good reason? Because the wicked is among us. A good reason is because people are not persevering, not using those characteristics, those virtues, perseverance, right? Integrity, respect, wisdom, not enough wisdom, right? A lot of people think they know, but they don't know. A lot of people are going by their own understanding and not being led. You know, what did the scripture say? In all your ways, acknowledge him, he shall direct your path. We're lean not to your own understanding. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, he shall direct your path. We're leaning into our own understanding, not knowing that our understanding is not enough, not knowing that our understanding is wrong understanding of something, because we really don't understand the thing. We just going off what we was taught, learned, assumed, mostly assumed, what we heard, right? We don't get information from the horse's mouth. Again, when it comes to the politics, Kinloch, let's talk about that. Did he really say that he will let the National Guards in? Would he give in to Trump and let the National Guards in Detroit? I mean, if Trump did it anyway, he probably won't stop the situation if he chose to do it. But did Kinloch say that? They made sure Mary Sheffield didn't say it, though. They asked her the question, and she said, "No, I won't do that." They didn't ask that same question to Kinloch. They just let him rhetoric. They just let him talk. And they said it a different way. They didn't say it the same way they said it to Sheffield, but they said it a different way. And people don't know that Kinloch, he didn't answer it, and people twisted his words on that. But he came back with another video and said, "No, I wouldn't have the National Guards to come in and do that." He had to make another video to say that. And just because he didn't say that on the debate, a lot of people don't want to vote for Kinloch. Oh, he done lost his mayoral. Oh, he done messed up. And that's what people are running with. These people wanted to vote for Mary Sheffield in the beginning. Like I said, I was in my city district, District 2, right? My sister, right across me, District 2, and they're voting for Mary Sheffield, and they can't even get a porch. Their porch is hanging off wood. The porch is hanging off wood. The neighborhood is jacked up. But they voting for Mary Sheffield that's been in there 12 years. 12 years. Sitting on the city council in the community, jacked up. James Tate sitting in there 16 years. Community, jacked up. And this president we got in office, Trump, touching everything, making all these executive orders, but none on price gouging to get the prices in order, right? Ain't said not one thing about reparations. Somebody in city council was like, well, they already said that they're not ready to put forth reparations right now. They're not ready to put forth reparations right now. Right? They said that first. And then secondly, after being asked about reparations, or this reparations task force that Mary Sheffield has put in play, or endorsed, I should say, they said that they didn't put their proposal in to Mary Waters or none of the other council members. They didn't even put their proposal in about the reparations. But they've been having all these meetings talking about reparations. It's like, are you serious? And again, the alliance that I'm dealing with, we've been talking about it. And they already knew that the reparations task force was on some bull crap. Got all this paperwork, got good information about the reparations and why we should get it. Great information. But y'all didn't put a proposal in for it. And I'm not even sure if Mary Sheffield voted for it or against it in a proposal. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody can help me with that. But, how does she really feel about reparations, Mary Sheffield? Oh, I'm for it. She can say that through her teeth, but in action, how is she really for it? They said no to direct cash payments. Before the first meeting, they refused to acknowledge it. Now, there's a video about Tariq Nasheed. I think people need to watch that. Tariq Nasheed, he had a video about reparations. He was talking to this white guy, or the podcaster, whoever he was. I forget his name. And the podcaster, who once believed that we shouldn't get reparations, and he had his strong beliefs about it, and he had to come back on that podcast and say he was wrong. People should get reparations. Our African Americans should get reparations. And he meant cash. Cash too. Cash, value, land, everything. Yes, cash. In cash, yes. He had to go back and say that. Because he made a lot of people upset about that comment. Right? But he know the reason. Like, yeah, it's true. It's true. Right? So go back and watch that video, Tariq Nasheed. And he has a good budget he had thought about with it. And I actually took that budget that he put in place and I put it through ChatGPT and see how it will fold out to each citizen in the cities of Michigan. Right? Nationally. I seen how it would roll out nationally, and it was a pretty good penny for everybody that was African American. And I believe his top dollar amount was 20 trillion. I think he said 20 trillion. And again, with money, you can buy land, right? Even though they can give land in cash too, but again, with the money, you could buy land, right? It was something else. It was about land. Yeah, because if they don't give reparations, they supposed to give back everything they stolen. That means to the Indians. That means that doggone mountain over there that they carved those presidents' face in. That need to be faces of Indians. A lot of the lands it has to be split up, given to its rightful owners. A lot of that gold over there in England that they stole from Africa, they gotta send all that back. A lot of the stuff that these colonizers did, they're gonna have to just overturn a lot of the stuff that they did and show forth some real restitution. Right? And the Bible says if you do restitution, you have to double it. Right? You have to double it. So whatever you took, you have to get that back. Plus, I believe, an extra or five or seven things. I believe something like that. I can't remember the exact scripture, but that's law of the Bible. Law. They supposed to, with restitution, you're supposed to double it or triple it. Right? The money would solve poverty. Yeah. Inclusionary policies are not reparations, right? Right. And policies, my thing with policy, and of course you can make a policy and it go a long way, but if you let the government run with policy, they will run game on you because the government has a way of putting policy above the law. Constitutional Bill of Rights. We could talk about the inalienable rights, because you have rights wherever you go, not just in America. And a lot of people believe, and that's another thing. Some people believe that the Constitution or the rights are just for Americans. Like it just came from America. Like America was the one who made rights, as if other countries don't have rights because they have dictators and all this and that. No, whether they got a dictator or not, they have rights. It's called inalienable rights, or some people will say unalienable rights, right? Right? And I had a list of those rights written out somewhere, and it's written out. It's in my stuff. But if I had my notes, I could really go into a sermon on a lot of this stuff. But yeah, it's not an American thing. Again, it came from the Magna Carta. And Magna Carta came from kings. Kings wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It started presidents over here. We started presidents over here. Right? They wanted to be so far from kings, right? But, but we can't stop what prophecy's going to do. It's going to always come back to a king because there's only one king and there's above, right? And he going to come down here. Yeah, he going to come down here. Right? Somebody that's going to bring true peace. I don't know who this is. Let's go. What's going on?
Yo, man. What's up?
Hi,
What's up? What's up? Y'all enjoying what's being said?
Where are you from?
I'm actually in Detroit.
Oh, you are in the trip? Where are
Detroit,
you
Michigan.
from?
The U.S.
US. Like,
Yep.
you're born in US?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Where y'all
What do you
from?
do? I'm from
I'm actually an
Pakistan.
educator. Say it again.
I'm from Pakistan.
Oh, wow. Man, my heart go out to y'all. I hate what y'all going through. Like that war out there shouldn't even be.
Yes.
It's like so many
where are
people
you,
like,
Hindi? Where
say
are
it
you,
again.
Hindi?
I'm
Oh, you
from
talking?
Pakistan.
Hindi, Urdu.
You okay? Yeah, man. It's like
यार इन्हू आग ना उर्दू बोले
You know
right.
Didi?
क्या आंदा है
Bro, what do you do?
So yeah. So I'm an educator.
Educator?
So I'm a teacher.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
a
So
teacher.
what? Yeah. What y'all do? What you?
I'm pretty low.
Oh, you in law?
Yeah, I study law.
Okay, that's what's up. So I'm learning it a little bit. I'm learning a little bit. As you can see, some of the stuff I'm saying.
की
Yeah.
गल कर रहे हो यार आपस में
यार वो पूछ रहे हैं कि करना मैं कह रहा हूँ मैं ला पा रहा हूँ पूछ रहे हैं कि कर रहा हूँ करना मैं Where you are like a in the uni or a school like a high school or a
I'm in a
Do this guy again, man. All this on you,
like
people.
K through
Hi,
8.
hi. Good morning.
How you doing?
हाय
All right.
I'm doing good, aren't you?
Good.
Hey,
Where you
good.
from?
I'm from Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yeah. Okay. I got friends
Where
in
are you from?
Nigeria.
Where are you from?
The
Nigeria.
U.S.
US.
United
Wow.
States. Yeah.
Follow me, and I'll follow you back.
Okay. Definitely. Yeah. Follow me. Yeah. Yeah. I'll follow y'all back.
ओके me follow me
No,
Okay.
no,
Yep.
no,
Definitely.
Yeah,
no,
follow
right.
me. I'll follow you back.
Oh, I can push this.
don't follow
Oh,
him.
okay. Okay, I see it. Yeah, I'm just not noticing that. You learn something new every day. Okay.
And I'll follow you back.
Okay.
Let's
Yep,
play
I
match.
just
Let's
did.
play match. Let's play match.
He's my friend. He's a gay.
Oh, nice to meet you.
He's a gay.
nice to meet
Peace.
you
Yep.
I know you're in class.
Wow. So, man, okay. Do
beautiful
it.
tattoo
Do it have a meaning?
Pablo, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Abike Bad, thanks for joining. Hello.
Hey.
Baby Mama,
Oh yeah.
thanks for
So
joining. Thanks for joining.
yep. So he's from
Abike,
Nigeria.
how are you doing? Double tap for me, guys. No, actually, thanks for joining. Double tap, double
ओ
tap.
गड्डी आलिया टैप टैप कर वांजो
Double tap
गड्डी
for me, double
आलिया
tap, double tap, double tap.
गड्डी
Double tap
लेके
for me.
उत्ते ही बैठा हुआ
Power tap, power
देखिए
tap, guys, power tap.
उत्ते ही बैठा है गड्डी आला टैप टैप ही कर ला
So how does it feel to be a king over there?
Sorry?
इंग्लिश नो स्पीकिंग
Oh, you don't. Oh, okay.
Okay, guys, come again, come again. No, but actually, babe, thanks for joining. Thanks for the like.
ओए टोपी आला दास खा के मैं
Double tap for
आखना
your
है
screen, double tap for your screen.
इंग्लिश नहीं आती इसको कैसे बताना है
More loose,
Yeah,
guys,
come.
more loose.
Is that
हैं
Arabic?
भाई इंग्लिश नहीं आती यार इसको कैसे बताऊं
Thanks for joining.
Anuka, stop. I
Yeah,
can't
I only speak English and I know a little bit of
आई
Hebrew.
कांट स्पीकिंग इंग्लिश
Yeah, yeah. That's
क्या
all
कहूं
right.
आई खान
Thanks for the like, thanks for the like.
Okay, yeah, it's a
I
hard
can't
language. English is actually a hard language.
English speaking.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous language, man. English is. But hey, that's what they running with. The hardest language.
yeah.
Yep. So you in Nigeria? What you do for a living?
Larry, thanks for joining. Young, thanks for joining.
Oh, so what do you do?
ए तू गंजा क्यों कराया है
Oh.
There you go again. I do.
He said,
Okay.
what?
Thanks for the like. Thanks for the like. Thanks for the like.
वो नो हेयर स्टाइल
Yo, thanks for joining.
व्हाट इज दिस
Good boy, thanks for joining. Just double tap on your screen. Double tap
At
on
least
your screen.
I got some good hair because I'm looking my head.
Oh.
Y'all ain't got no hair.
Double tap on your screen. Double tap on your screen.
वो रन दूसरा माय फ्रेंड रन
Okay. I'll
Okay,
probably need some of that
partner,
Netflix
choose.
stuff. Throw it back.
पार्टनर चूज
Okay.
क्यूट गर्ल ओके चूज
Oh, okay.
थैंक यू
Yep, no problem.
ओके थैंक यू
Yep. I might. I think I'm about to get up here though.
Double tap.
I'm about to call it out, y'all. I don't know if y'all can stand that.
नो
Nice meeting y'all.
Sonny, thanks for joining. Zah, thanks for joining.
See the seat right here. Yep.
Double tap on your